Hey everyone, this is Scott from certmedia.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about asset management. I said I'd make a video on this topic, and it wasn't published yet because it's a bit of a complicated topic, and I also had to think of a good way to test it, so I grabbed Avada, not because I wanted to use that theme in particular, but because I just needed a theme that I could import a demo in, and I added a bunch of random plugins without much care for the sake of video. So as we all know, I constantly recommend Perfmatters because I actually use it. It is a great plugin and it does a great job. I've gone ahead and I installed the following active plugins. So we have Contact Form 7, Easy Table of Contents, the Fusion Builder and Fusion Core, which are required for the theme, obviously. Perfmatters to do our asset management. You can use Asset Cleanup or the Web Craftic Cleanup tool. Perfmatters is just my preference, and I just like its user interface the most, to be honest. Simple Author Box, not really sure why, it just came up as suggested. Social Warfare, Table Press, and we have WooCommerce Blocks, and WP Forms Lite. Why are there two Forms plugins, you might be asking? And that's because most websites that I tend to come across for some reason tend to use two different Forms plugins. I have no idea why. And if you ask them which one they're using, most of the time they are unsure. But I figured this was a nice, well-rounded way to illustrate how these tools function. So the easiest way to use these tools is to look at the plugins that you are using. And then that way you can determine on what pages you're going to need those plugins. You can go ahead and you can optimize specific scripts from something like the Fusion Builder, but Avada on its own loads a lot of assets. And I could make a whole subset of a video just optimizing Avada, but it would take way too long and it would take forever to do the testing, and that's not going to give you as much of a benefit. So by default though, we need to specify one important detail. Perfmatters has one default DQ system. Actually, it has two if you're wanting to be technical. It can remove dash icons from all non-logged in users, which is good. That should be enabled, obviously, just because when you're not logged in, your theme doesn't typically use dash icons. Most of the time, they're using Font Awesome. And then you also can DQ WooCommerce scripts on non-WooCommerce pages. That's what this does, and that's why you don't see WooCommerce as a listed plugin. Otherwise, we'd have to use the script manager to do it, but we could just go ahead and use this tool because it functionally will work the same. So now that we've cleared that out of the way, let's jump into this script manager. So the things you need to do are identify what plugins you know are on the page. So for instance, on this home page, I already know that I'm not using any contact forms. If you only are using your contact forms on your contact page, you're in a really good spot because now you can make a generalized assumption. So I think this is contact form 7. So let's say you have a basic website and you only have your contact form on your contact pages. You can simply turn off the plugin, disable it everywhere. And you might be wondering, why would you disable it everywhere if you need it on your contact page? Because now I can come over to this page and I can use the script manager tool. And with the script manager tool, I can use an exception for that URL. So now the script manager will load contact form 7, but only on the contact us page. This removes all of the plugins, function CSS and JavaScript. And in the Perfmatters video for version 1.5.7, which I'm also making, I'll go over one advanced feature that it has using an MU plugin that will also disable any PHP from the plugin running, as well as the database queries. But we are not there yet. Okay, so now we've made a generalized assumption of how one specific plugin can work. And I could probably do the exact same thing for WP Forms, but we want to go ahead and skip to the next thing. The next thing you're going to look at is something like Easy Table of Contents. This is a plugin that I know will only be used on my single posts. I would never use it on anything like a page because pages don't need table of contents. Your posts and where your content are typically where you're loading it. So what I can do is go ahead and disable it everywhere and choose to only load it on posts because I wouldn't use it on any of these other post types. And if you really wanted to optimize it further, you could go ahead and edit each individual post into DQ the asset. But I wouldn't really go that far into it because then you're going to get into a web of exceptions that is going to get quite large. And you may go back and edit a post in the future that you are going to want it on. So you go ahead and we can hit the save button again. But we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and I have Social Warfare installed. Well, Social Warfare is a sharing button plugin that I've covered tons of times on this channel. And I know that I'm not using it on the homepage. But let's say that I'm using it on my blog post, which would make sense. But I'm also using it on my product pages and maybe my portfolio. So now it'll disable its assets on all pages except for the post, the products, and the portfolio, which is an ideal situation. For WooCommerce blocks, even though I could use it on this page, I know that I'm going to only be using it on pages and maybe the individual products. I can't think of a situation where I'd use a WooCommerce block on anything that wasn't a page or a product. I wouldn't add it to a blog post, I imagine, and I wouldn't really need to add it to my portfolio, my FAQs, or the Fusion templates, so I could go ahead and simply exclude it. One thing to keep in mind is depending on how your home page is set up, you might need to put an exception for the current URL, which I will also do as just a best practice. For TablePress is used for building tables. It seems to load the CSS style sheet indiscriminately. Well, I know that I would only load it on pages, but I know that I don't need to load it on this URL either. So I could just choose to disable it everywhere and to only add TablePress to my pages. If I'm only using it on one page, we could do exactly like we did for Contact Form 7, find that one page and only load the assets on that page. And WP Forms Lite, by default, actually doesn't load any assets on pages that it's not required on. And as you can see, we basically just have the bulk of the theme. So the way script managers are essentially meant to work is you're never going to be able to deal with all of the CSS in your theme. That should be down to the theme developer properly queuing their styles and their scripts. But you can use it to clean up your plugins, which is where most of your bloat is going to come from in the first place. Most of the time, your bloat is add-on bloat. Most themes are pretty well optimized. I mean, Avada is definitely an exception with how many assets it loads everywhere, but most themes are an exception. And when you add plugins and you add a lot of functionality, the scripts and the assets get loaded on every single page by default, more or less. There are some good exceptions like WP Forms, as we just saw. But you need to keep in mind how you're loading your assets and how to easily disable them. What's great about Perfmatters too is you do gain a global view. This allows you to easily see where your rules are actually set to take place at. So as we can see, I have the following rules set to disable everywhere. So Contact Form 7, Table of Contents, Social Warfare, the Gutenberg blocks, and TablePress are all set to be disabled everywhere. However, the enabled section lets me know where my exceptions are. So for instance, TablePress, I said that I'm only loading it on the page. And for Contact Form 7, I'm only loading it on this page, and you can click it and it'll take you directly to the page that it was excluded on. And you can do this for every single plugin. Gutenberg blocks, where it's excluded on the home page, all other pages and products. Social Warfare is excluded for post, products, and the Avada portfolio post type. So you're easily able to go ahead and figure out which assets you're enabling and disabling, and most of the good plugins have this. But you need to have a good habit like I set mine up as. You want to be using the most broad set of rules as possible so that way you don't go down the rabbit hole of exceptions. And you also need to keep in mind how you're managing it for the future. For instance, with Table of Contents, even though I may not be using it on every single post, I excluded all posts. Because in the future, I do not want to have to go back and have to exclude all the new posts that I added on. That would not be an ideal situation, and it would be absolutely insane for me to manage. Every time I go to add a new post, I then have to worry about, why isn't my table of contents showing? Oh yeah, I need to exclude it. So you have to do it in a way that makes sense and is easy for you to maintain, but also doesn't load the assets in an inefficient manner. So the easiest thing to do is obviously start with your contact form and map out which pages, maybe on a piece of paper or just in a notepad on the computer and just list out, okay, I'm using it on this page, my contact page, and on my service page, I have it in the footer as a call to action. So you can exclude it for everywhere and only whitelist it on those pages. You're able to be a little bit more flexible with pages in particular because they don't get updated frequently and you tend to not add a lot of pages. And if you do, you could use the global rule as the exception. I do this a lot actually on very complicated websites. Fairly recently, I did a LearnDash one where I disabled LearnDash on everywhere except for the LearnDash specific post types, and then I excluded each of the individual pages. The primary goal was to not load the assets on the landing pages that were driving people to the site, the home page, and a couple of pages that were the landing pages that were designed, and the About Us page. But I needed it to load on all of the LearnDash specific post types, and I needed it to load on these specific pages that were built for LearnDash, like the account page and the groups pages for BuddyPress and BBPress and everywhere else. And it came out just fine. It did take a little bit while to work out the logic and figure out which pages were needed, but it did work, and it greatly reduced the amount of unused CSS and JS, at least on the home page. Now, from a specific point of view, you're mostly just moving around the assets. You're not getting rid of the unused CSS and JavaScript. But what you are doing is you're telling it, this doesn't need to load here, so it shouldn't load here. The advantage to this method is those who are logging into like LearnDash or BBPress or BuddyPress tend to have a higher they're already having a higher engagement rate with your site than those who you're trying to convert. So they're more tolerant of your website. For instance, if Netflix has to buffer for one day and you're watching a show, your first instinct isn't, well, I'm going to turn it off and go to Hulu. You stick onto the website and you deal with it, and you may complain about it, and you may go to a forum and say, Netflix is slow today. But you're not going to leave because you're already into that ecosystem. So dynamic content, you can get away with assets being loaded, at least in all pages, like in the case of LearnDash. But you just have to remember that when you're trying to convert users to become users of your website, you need to get those landing pages as optimized as possible, and using a script manager is the best way to do that. It basically allows you to fix the mistakes that the developers are making when they're adding their plugins. Contact Form 7 does not need to load on all pages. I am a firm believer of that. I only have a form on my website on my contact page. And I think on my service pages, maybe. It's probably on my service pages too. But the biggest one that gets the most direct traffic is my contact page. And that makes sense. And that's how it should be for your website. So go ahead and go through your asset cleanup or Perfmatters and follow through the plugin and just go down the list. Go down the list of assets, and I will have the other video for Perfmatters up already on the channel that you can watch for 1.5.7, where I basically explain the new feature for the MU plugin that this thing integrates. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I can try to give you insights on your rule sets. But remember, the more broad the rules, the easier it's going to be for you to manage. If you have to constantly add exceptions, you may just not have the logic worked out well enough to be easier for you to maintain. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.